Top 10 American things I can't get in the UK, so I import them. I'm gonna tell you if some of those things are available in Italy. I mean, I don't know. I guess if they're not available in the UK, they're not gonna be available in Italy for sure, but who knows? You never know. So yeah, let's check out this video. It's from the channel of Evan, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Edinger. So yeah, definitely go and check out his channel. Let's watch this together.
If I told you that every time I come back from the States, I bring with me a bottle of cough syrup, you might call me crazy.
What? Cough syrup in the plastic like this? That looks like mouthwash. I've never seen anything like that. Isn't it getting spoiled easy like that? Because I feel like whenever you buy cough syrup here in Europe, they're always coming in a plastic bag, of course, but it's like a darker one. Like when you buy the sodas or you buy beer, it's always in a darker bottle. I don't know. That's pretty weird. Wow.
The UK surely has cold medicines, right? Well, yes, but they ain't got nothing on America's. After moving from the US to the UK, I've discovered that some American products are just irreplaceable. I've made do with a lot of British things, but there's a certain kind of item where America just does it better, be that in quality, nostalgia, or sometimes because there really is no comparable UK product, or there are some pesky laws in the way. My name is Evan Edinger, and these are the 10 American items I can no longer live without. So yeah, let's start off with this guy. NyQuil for nights, and now they've got the back of a bottle. NyQuil for nights, and now they've got Dayquil for days. For the longest time, I thought that the effect that this stuff had on me was mostly in my head. I guess, pun intended. Like when you're having one of those super congested nights from a really bad cold, NyQuil lets you breathe and knocks you out. But I bet this was just some sort of marketing or branding thing, and the UK equivalent would surely do me fine. That is not true. Also, I really want to preface this by saying in the world of medicines, I'm very much a layman, not a doctor, and I will happily admit—
Bro, look at the place where he lives in. That is insane. Let's focus on the video.
Medicine, active ingredients and such is something that I only have a passing amount of knowledge on. But according to my cursory research, to understand why I've personally found the American cough syrup to be more effective, I've found the following. NyQuil contains 3 active ingredients. We've got 1, acetaminophen, which is 650 milligrams, and that is a pain reliever and fever reducer. If you've never heard of acetaminophen, you probably haven't watched my video on UK-US words that are different. Interesting enough, acetaminophen is called paracetamol in the UK. Unless you pronounce it paracetamol, those type of people usually get a headache when they hear people saying paracetamol, so take a paracetamol. The other active ingredients in NyQuil are dextromethorphan, that's 30 milligrams, that's a cough suppressant, and finally, doxylamine succinate, which is an antihistamine. Hi, Evan Editor here. I just wanted to point out Night Nurse is probably the closest UK comparison to NyQuil. It has most of the same stuff, but the main difference being the antihistamine of choice of the UK variant is called—
I don't know anything about
which isn't quite as sedative as the US variant. And that's the big difference, and that's why I bring it back. That said, I do really like the vibe of British Lemsip. For Americans, you know how stereotypically Brits really love tea? Also, on average, Brits enjoy 10 cups of tea per week. Well, turns out they love tea so much, they made one of their cough medicines into a tea. You simply pour some lemon or blackcurrant flavored Lemsip—
Bro, that is genius. That is genius.
powder into a mug, pour over boiling water, and enjoy. I actually kind of like that vibe. But as nice as Lemsip is, especially as a vibe, it doesn't really give you the strong sedative effect of the doxylamine succinate in NyQuil that knocks you out. And for me, that's kind of most of the appeal. Also, I don't want to make this into an entire category.
Wait, I don't know anything about cold medicine. I'm gonna show you what I usually do when I feel sick, so I don't need to— I mean, it's kind of like medicine still, but wait, I forgot the name. Wait, no, it's not like this. That's way too much. Okay, yeah. Wait, not as much as like this. We got one that is more one. Right, like this. Okay. Like this is way better. Okay. Made a mistake. I don't even know my own language. Why am I even doing videos in English? Yeah, there's one like this. Okay, you can just do it with water. You pour some salt or something else. It's just fine enough. But if you do it professionally, there's like Yeah, with soda. There's some essential oil. Wait, that you can be adding. Yeah, there's this kind of things that you can just pour inside, and you're just gonna breathe in. You put your towel on it, just breathe in, and it's gonna clear your nose perfectly. Of course, you gotta do it like, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 times a day when you're sick, but I think it works way better than any other medicine that are so overpriced. That thing you will pay maybe 2 to 3 euro for the whole time that you are sick, and it works like a charm. So yeah, I don't know. You should try it maybe sometimes. Not rely always on medicine. That's what
But I also usually bring back with me a package of Tums, which essentially is a multi-flavored antacid tablet. They most definitely have comparable products to Tums in the UK, but not with all the flavors. And I grew up with them, and there's sort of a Pavlovian response to the taste of Tums and my stomach settling whenever I actually need one. So I do end up bringing these back. They're very cheap. It's just like the antacids you can get at your local Boots in the UK, but lots more fun flavors. America. Ultra strength. Oh, yeah. Goes to work in seconds. Good stuff. It's pretty much just calcium carbonate. But to get all the medicinal stuff out of the way first, this next one will probably come as no surprise to anyone, but the main thing I always bring back from the States, every single trip, is melatonin, the sleeping aid. In the UK, to get your hands on melatonin, it is just so much more fast. First, it's classed as a prescription-only medication, which means that if I want some, I have to book an appointment with my GP, which is its own can of worms, and then convince them that not only do I have problems sleeping, but I'd like the fix to be melatonin. And anytime you try and ask a GP here for very specific medication, they rightfully get pretty sus. But in the US, melatonin is as common as vitamin C tablets. You can stroll into any pharmacy, supermarket, sometimes even gas stations and find it there.
I think we do have this in Italy. I'm sure we do. Maybe not at the same quantity as there will be in the US, but we do have it. I mean, you can just go to the local supermarket and you're gonna find some pills like this with melatonin. It's pretty weird that it will say that about the UK. This video is fairly new too. I don't know.
They're just sitting on
Comes
the
as a
shelf. It's considered
surprise.
a dietary supplement over there, which means it's regulated more like a food than a drug. The FDA doesn't scrutinize it as heavily, nor do they scrutinize pretty much anything unless some lobby is paying them to. So it's readily available for anyone who feels like they need some help adjusting their sleep cycle. Why the difference? Well, it all boils down to how each country
Is there some side effects to it? That's why in Europe it's not allowed. I mean, I didn't even know. I mean, I never had trouble sleeping, so that's why I never take them. But I don't know.
regulates supplements and medications. The UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or MHRA, is a bit more cautious, which, fair enough. They classify melatonin as a medicine because it's a hormone that affects your internal body clock. They prefer that melatonin is used under medical supervision, which makes sense, especially since the long-term effects and appropriate dosages can vary from person to person. For me, melatonin is a lifesaver, especially when dealing with like jet lag or honestly just to ensure I get a better quality sleep, as anecdotally, I usually feel way more rested when I sleep with a small amount, usually around 2 to 3 milligrams of melatonin before I go to sleep. Plus, our bodies produce melatonin naturally when it comes time to wind down for the night, so personally, this is why I choose to take it and why I choose to bring it back with me from the States. It's just so much easier to access. It is wild to me just how strong some of the pills are on US shelves. Like, I've seen some that are going up to 10 milligrams per dose, which, listen, that honestly makes me understand more why the UK has such a cautionary approach to this and putting it behind a doctor. Because, like I said, everybody is different. So someone taking 2, someone taking 10, you really should be talking to a doctor and probably not a YouTuber before you make a decision like taking something like melatonin. Ask your doctor for more information. But now let's leave the medicines behind. The food section is coming up in a bit. This candle here smells like home to me, but the company that makes it doesn't even allow you to place an order if you have a UK address. Well, at least if you want this specific candle. They make you use the brand new UK website, which I'm thankful exists, sure, but they only offer Christmas candles pretty much all year round and a few other candle scents, rather than their whole library. That's not what I want. I want sweater weather. I want all the different seasonal candles. God. Such an American problem. I want more choice in this one specific category. This is just one of the many items that I actually have to bring back from the States anytime I visit. Now, obviously, there are a lot of scented candles in the UK, but they all suffer from the same flaws. One, they're never really that strong, and two, there just aren't that many options. If you'd seen my video comparing US and UK supermarkets, you'd know that, well, America does love providing 50 different kinds of the same item, whether that be different Oreo flavors or, in this case, candles.
I definitely need to check out that video. I definitely need to check out that video. Oh my god, yeah, US supermarkets are unbelievable. Every time I see those videos.
UK in a limited capacity, but I've never really cared for them that much as the smell doesn't last, and I just don't really like the scents that they offer. And yeah, in the past few years, we've had Bath & Body Works. They've begun operating in the UK, albeit out of a small corner of a next store with incredibly limited offerings, but it's still better. My favorites of their scents are usually their fall ones, with sweater weather, flannel, and pumpkin apple being my top tier. I love lighting fresh balsam after Thanksgiving, so the whole house smells like a Christmas tree. Fresh cotton's my favorite one for summer, and in spring, I usually have a couple of their floral candles. But the thing is, you can usually only find these seasonal scents if you go during that season, which makes acquiring these candles in the UK quite a bit more difficult. When I was in the US recently to film my multiple videos from New Jersey and around Chicago and whatnot, I ended up picking up the same scented candle, but in hand sanitizer form, which I keep in my backpack, and I love it so much. This was like $1, and now anytime I want to like clean my hands,
so cool.
I've got this like bubble of one of my favorite scents all around me. I let my friend use it the other day, and he went, "My hands just smell like your room now." I'm okay with that. Obviously, Britain has access to scented candles. I just think that none of them at all compare to Bath & Body Works candles in terms of the strength, in terms of the options, in terms of the actual scent quality. It's just better. And that's why I bring it back. On the topic of smells, though, this is a quick one. If you walk into any Walgreens, which is an American pharmacy brand, I swear there will be an entire wall of different deodorants. As I grew up in the States, I grew up accustomed to certain brands and certain smells, and I'd always been a big fan of Old Spice deodorants and antiperspirants. The brand does have a small presence in the UK, but as with most things, nowhere near the level that they have in the US. So this is just one of those extra things I like picking up when I'm over there. Doesn't necessarily mean I always get the same scent. It's just, oh, I'll get one of those Old Spice antiperspirants. The UK, I feel like you got like 2 or 3 options, and the US is like 2 or 3 shelves. Some things, I like life to be easier in the UK without the options, specifically when it comes to groceries. Other things, I'm like, let me smell everything possible and then choose which one I fancy. But if you end up looking up any of the next items I talk about, you might have some targeted ads follow you around the web. That is, of course, unless you're using today's video sponsor, the new Opera One R2 browser. Listen, I love a sponsor.
I'm gonna skip the sponsor because I already use Opera. I'm not, well, okay, fine. I'm just gonna show you, okay? Opera is right here, so you will believe me. That's why I'm skipping definitely use Opera, it's pretty good.
You don't have to have watched my channel for long to know I really like a good flannel. In the UK, the word flannel often refers to a small washcloth, usually for washing your face. So finding a good flannel is surprisingly not that easy to do here. This is a flannel shirt from LL Bean. LL Bean is one of those American companies that's been around for ages, that's known for focusing more on quality and longevity of their products. A big buy it for life brand. They sell flannels, cashmere scarves,
That is so confusing to me because in Italian we would call flanella, flannel with an A at the end, just the t-shirt, like a t-shirt but without sleeves, you know, and that is like cotton or whatever that keeps you warm. That's what you will wear underneath your other clothes. Yeah, that's pretty weird to me. They will say flannel. That's something interesting. I'm learning something new.
Iconic duck boots, camping supplies, fishing stuff, basically a lot of outdoorsy things as well. There really isn't a one-to-one UK equivalent brand, but I'd say in terms of like quality and scope, the closest is probably John Lewis. I like the thicker flannels for cool days. I like their thinner flannels for warm days, and my favorite one is for their coldest days, and it's their fleece-lined flannel, which is like a shirt jacket that's so unbelievably warm and even has hidden little pockets. So that's probably why you saw me wearing that a lot in the last couple months. It's such a good versatile piece of clothing. LL Bean is a company with practically no presence in the UK market. Though they do have a UK website, the prices are almost always a lot more expensive. You gotta pay for shipping, gotta pay for VAT. There's never really any sales, but that's what you get when you wanna buy an American company. I've never seen anyone over here actually have any LL Bean. It's just like me. I'm the LL Bean guy. But that's okay. That's one of the reasons why I specifically bring it over. It's just something I really like. Before I switched to linen bedding in my bedroom, every bedding set I've owned for the last 6 or 7 years has been a crisp cotton percale set from LL Bean, or their super cozy flannel set. When I got a larger bed at my new place, I tried going for a flannel sheet set from posh UK brand M&S, but the quality was so far away from the quality of LL Bean that I opted to just stick with the linen set for the time being. I just
very
really
interesting
can't find
video.
that
I think this is a very interesting video. It's very interesting.
good of a flannel brushed cotton stuff here in the UK, and that's why I import it. I find it important. Dumb. Obvious joke. Now, cast iron skillets, as we know them in America, aren't nearly as popular in the UK. They do, of course, exist, but most that I've found in the UK are usually enameled, so a different product entirely, and usually significantly more expensive. Lodge is a manufacturer of cast iron skillets based in Tennessee since 1896, and they are by and large the most popular and trusted brand of cast iron skillet in the States. Many reasons being, they've been making the same consistently high-quality skillets from 100 years ago to now. Many American families will have different Lodge skillets across different generations, one from the 1920s, 1980s, 2000s,
What are you cooking that? Eggs and pancakes, I'm guessing, right?
2010s. Yet again, they're just a buy-it-for-life item. Despite this, they also continually keep their skillets affordable, with them being firmly in the lowest price bracket for cast iron skillets. Buying a brand new 12-incher in the States is like $25 at Walmart and will last you a lifetime. The variant I have is a black lock one because it's 25% lighter, but it is a bit more
Yeah, $25 is pretty good. Yeah. Wow, that's a pretty... I think I can find something cheaper, but it won't be lasting that much, probably. Yeah, so 25, it's a very good price.
more costly. I'll put links in the description if you're interested. I also use the Lodge cast iron combo cooker whenever I want to make a sourdough, and I use this one all the time. It's a very simple, lightweight cast iron pan for making homemade pancakes. Really, if you've never made pancakes using a cast iron, there's just so much better flavor, texture. There's yum, yum, yum. It creates more craggly bit.
I never had a pan like that. Never, never.
Like, I personally
need
enjoy
to
cast
try
iron
it.
pancakes a lot more because it's not uniform, it's not smooth. You get lots of different texture in the pancake and it feels so much more wholesome. Plus, if you know how to season your cast iron correctly, these things are naturally non-stick and they imbue everything you cook with a little bit of extra flavor. Yes, I do clean my cast iron. I just do it the right way. I like cast iron because the way it cooks meats and also because the fact that I treat it well,
Oh, you
which
cook
means it's
everything on
naturally
that.
non-stick. And I just really like the vibes. Like I said, a lot of this is, yeah, you can get this one in the UK. And now the food section. As much as I've been really enjoying eating healthily the last few years and naturally avoiding a lot of ultra-processed foods, there is one mistress I do always come back to. American breakfast cereal. This is one category where you really cannot get the same thing in the
Honey bunches of oats. That's the first time that I see this. Wow.
UK. Thanks to important regulations, UK cereals are nowhere near as sugary or wild. A lot of American cereals do contain significantly more sugar compared to their UK counterparts, and then some. This is partially due to different food labeling and regulatory practices, a topic of which I'm making a future video on, hopefully in 2025. In the UK, stricter regulations under the Food Information Regulations 2014 and other EU-influenced policies limit the amount of added sugar in breakfast cereals and how they're marketed. Foods that exceed certain sugar levels can't legally be labeled as breakfast cereal, otherwise they'd fall under dessert or confectionery categories, depending on the product. Now, as much as the
didn't
American
know that.
side in me wants to be like,
He knows more about Europe than I do, and I'm European and lived pretty much my whole life in Europe.
just let me choose what I want to put in my body. I do
Oh
fully
my
support
God.
this law and the other law that heavily restricts how these companies can advertise to children, but maybe that's a topic for, yet again, another video. After making my video ranking UK and US cereals a few years back,
Wait, okay, let's see. Okay, Crave, we do have it. Okay, I gotta be honest with you guys. As a kid, I will only eat, Cocoa Pops, either, or... it's not even there. The Nesquik one. Wait, let me show you. Wait, Nesquik. This one. Yeah, this one. I'm sure they have a different name, right? They have a different name in the US, probably. I mean, this guy is so iconic. I used to eat every day this one before I go to school when I was a kid. Sometimes the monkey, yeah, the Cocoa Pops also. The Frosties one, I saw it, but I never tried because I think it's with honey. I'm not such a fan of honey. Cheerios, I saw this one too, but I never tried it. Which one? Oh, this one I saw it, but I never tried it. This one maybe now we do have it, but when I was a kid, no. Cornflakes, yes. When I was growing up, I think when I was like 20, 22 years old, around the time I would have always my breakfast with cornflakes. Then I don't know. Now I'm not cereal guy anymore.
I honestly sort of went off of US cereals and cereal in general. Just
Ooh, but wait, look, cinnamon toast crunch. Wow, that looks so good.
because I realized how bad the energy that I got from them was. Not like vibes energy, but actual like body energy. Turns out I learned an obvious thing that most people probably learned when they were like, I don't know, 12. No, I don't think people learned that at 12. Most of my childhood, most of my college years, even when I graduated and still lived in the States, those days where I started with these sugary cereals, I didn't have as much energy. I'd crash when I'd be running.
I totally agree with that. As an Italian, if you will ask any Italians, most of them they would say you they just eat something sweet in the morning. Sometimes I still do that. I try to, I don't know, some days, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, I will eat eggs and maybe something else. I usually just do like a sandwich with eggs. Maybe I'll put some other vegetables, maybe tomatoes, a little bit of salad, some mayonnaise. Sometimes I try to not even put mayonnaise, it's better. And eat an apple and whatever. I always eat apples. I try every day to eat apples. And yeah, but there are some days that I'm like, no, I don't feel like eating eggs today. So I'll just eat, I don't know, a piece of cake or croissant or whatever is there that is sweet. But I try my best not to do that. It really makes me feel not too energetic when I do that. Maybe if you mix savory with sweet, it's better. But yeah, savory all the way, I would say.
And I just run out of energy and be like, what the heck is going on? And I realized maybe this diet that I had since, being a kid of starting every day with cereal, and if I was still hungry, more cereal. In fact,
Actually, the cornflakes are not that sweet, so it could still be okay. Maybe with some, I don't know, with some energetic milk, like almond milk or oat milk. Yeah, definitely could be
would
good.
have 2 to 3 bowls of cereal every day for breakfast. Turns out that's not that good. Turns out that's not actually that good energy. And yeah, it was not going to be good for what my body actually needed. But there's so many nice American cereals that are such like an experience that now I mostly only ever have them when I visit the States because it's really difficult to get them in the UK, not 20 quid a box or something. And the one that I like the most these days, it's like Crunchy Nut, but better. So
Is it really that expensive to buy American cereals in the UK?
it's not one of the like crazier ones like Cap'n Crunch or Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Lucky Charms or any of those. It's just a simple one that I don't even have for breakfast now. Sometimes if I just want a little snack,
I mean, there are actual almonds inside.
I'll
Wow.
have a small bowl of cereal in the evening. It's a nice, healthy relationship I have with it. Part of your balance.
I want to try that.
But I do still bring it back from the States because I can't get that here. I can't get the specific thing. And UK cereals are.
It's okay. You can live your life as a monk. You gotta enjoy life sometimes. It's totally fine. You don't need to justify yourself. Evan, right? That's how you pronounce it. I think. Yeah, come on. Don't worry, dude.
for the right reasons. Sorry, Weetabix. I actually don't hate Weetabix anymore. Living in the UK made my palate more bland. I moved here and I was like, beans on toast? Now I'm like, beans on toast? Weetabix. Weetabix? Now, when I first moved to the UK, I honestly couldn't imagine ever making pancakes without a box of Bisquick. In fact, if you watched my UK versus US pancakes video from many years ago, you'll see that's how I did it. A box of Bisquick. That was just how my family made pancakes, and most of my American friends were the same. Bisquick is how you made pancakes. When I found out that Brits use flour and baking soda, I was so surprised at the idea one could make pancakes without Bisquick. It just felt like a foreign concept to me. Like, yeah, sure, you could use flour and baking soda, but this isn't the 1800s anymore, You can make pancakes using Bisquick. They found the best way of making pancakes. Not really. Stupid, Evan. Stupid. It turns out you can actually make better pancakes without using Bisquick. So, it took me some time, but I got into a nice recipe. I made cast iron pancakes using flour, baking soda, the works buttermilk as well. And yeah, it's better than the prepackaged box. Who would have guessed? But one easy box of mix that I haven't been able to shake
What
is
is
Jiffy
that?
cornbread mix.
Corn
Cornbread is
muffin
one of my
mix?
all-time favorite foods, and it's incredibly rare to find in the UK outside of an American-themed restaurant. And I know that I could definitely make a killer batch of homemade cornbread to satisfy my desire. Similar
I mean, those looks exactly like plum cakes, no?
to the pancakes, but these little boxes of Jiffy are just so fast and so convenient to get what I want that I always end up bringing a couple back. I mean, all you really got to do is add a little milk, a little egg, and this package, and then you got some cornbread. And it's the specific flavor of
Oh, cornbread.
that I just
Never tried
appreciate.
that.
Also, during my road trip of the Midwest a month back, I ended up stopping by a Culver's to try a frozen custard in a place called Chelsea, Michigan to snap this pic. Just was really blown away with the size of this flag. It turns out that area, Chelsea, Michigan, is where Jiffy is from. I thought that was pretty cool. What are the chances of that? Obviously, a lot of things that I bring back from the States are things that I grew up with that give me a sense of nostalgia, but this next item I do feel like might repulse quite a few Brits, and that is American peanut butter. But let me soften the blow a bit. You know how beans on toast
Why?
is supposed to taste, right? Like,
What is the difference between peanut butter from the US then versus the one in Europe? I never tried the one in the US.
run-of-the-mill bread, Heinz or Branston beans on top. Have you ever had posh beans on toast where it's on artisan sourdough and 5 beans and yet an egg from around Yorkshire? It doesn't quite taste like what you're expecting because you're expecting a comforting adequateness. You know, that's pretty much Britain, isn't it? When it comes to peanut butter, it's the same thing. What I want peanut butter for, this specific American peanut butter, is that comforting adequateness. When you're having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I want this sweet, spreadable American peanut butter with some grape jelly, which yes, I can't get in the UK and I don't bring it across because it would go off too soon, which is very frustrating. It's like Greg's. Greg's isn't supposed to be the best sausage roll you've ever had.
Grape jelly. I think I've never seen grape jelly here in Italy. Seen pretty much all foods, all fruits. I see figs, blueberry, of course, raspberry, strawberry, orange, tangerine. You can find pretty much everything but grape jelly. I've never seen that. I mean, maybe they do have it here, but I don't know. I can't.
It's just that comfort.
I can't imagine it.
You're familiar with Greg's. You know what that sausage roll tastes like. You don't want some posh roll sometimes. You just want a Greg's roll. That's why I get this stuff. And the final big American thing that I can't live without is a bit of a double whammy. I got more into cooking in late 2018 after a successful stay in Munich to work on myself. I did a lot of HelloFresh, a lot of Gusto, a lot of that type of thing, and just practiced quite a lot. I read a lot of books, watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to cook better. But there was one thing that kept coming up in books, one thing that kept coming up in every YouTube video I watched that I couldn't seem to find in any British grocery store. Kosher salt. Sure, the local Morrisons had table salt, fine sea salt, and even sea salt flakes, but none of them were the thing that I saw these American YouTubers using. And I wanted to know what the big hubbub was about with kosher salt. Is it really that big of a difference? Is it just salt? I will say, it's actually 100% worth it to find yourself some kosher salt. Luckily for me, this is one American item that you can easily buy online and ship to the UK, and that I did. Though I will say it does matter which brand you go with. The first brand on my kosher salt journey was Morton's, because that was just an American brand that I was familiar with. And I'll just say, if you do enjoy cooking, it is absolutely worth having kosher salt to hand. Just being able to grab...
Wait, let me just try and Google what's the translation. Maybe I know what that is if I read it in Italian. Sale kosher. No idea, actually. No idea. No idea. Have you ever tried cooking with this salt? Let me know. Let me know if there's actually a difference, as Evan is saying.
And pinch a little bit of salt to add to each dish. It makes it feel much easier to understand how much seasoning you're adding to anything, rather than just going, here's an amount of salt, taste it, too much, it just feels like you're adding a sense. You're adding your physical sensation to figure out how much to put in. So it's just easier to cook. So having a little salt pig by my stovetop with kosher salt in it has actually been a game changer for cooking for me. I felt like everyone was exaggerating about it, but no, for me at least, it's actually that big of a deal. But a couple months ago, I bought kosher salt from Diamond Crystal Pure, and wow, tiniest difference, but the salt is just a little bit smaller, a little bit finer, and it feels like I have even more control over what I'm adding to every dish. I feel like a lot of the joy that I picked up from cooking came from a combination of knowledge, having the right kit, and making it more enjoyable, like having an adequate sized cutting board rather than the tiny one that I'd gotten on Amazon, a salt pig, and good kosher salt to hand. Also, because I kept doing it, I was getting better and therefore feeling more successful. It was easier for me to cook things that I liked because I was getting better at it. So practice makes perfect. But just to throw another one in here, I also do bring back some Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning. I just add it to mashed potatoes and it makes the taste really nice. I also make my own ranch dressing to give me that taste of home. I didn't think it deserved its own category, but I do actually bring this stuff back. I think it's also one you can get online. I'll put a link in the description if I find it. That said, I have lived in the UK long enough to now have a few UK items that I honestly can't live without. So that's a video I'm also working on in the future. I've got a lot of things in the pipeline. Hope you're enjoying the very bit of content that I've been producing recently. If you haven't seen my recent video on baseball, it seemed to didn't quite hit. Either way, I'm hoping to make a UK version of this video about the UK products that I can't live without after living here for 12 years. So hopefully that will be in your sub feed as well soon. Thank you so much for everyone that's joined me in 2024, and hopefully you're having a good December. I'll see you next Sunday.
Okay, now it's already January, so I want to check whether he already made the video. If he did make that video that he promised, I would definitely... No, seems like I've been getting this video in my homepage before. Oh, that's pretty cool. Duolingo. There are better ways. There are better ways. Why taking the train was a bad idea. He still hasn't done that video. It's okay. Maybe we can check out other videos from Evan Edinger. So yeah, I definitely will be subscribing to this American guy in London. You should check out his channel, definitely. I will leave a link to the original video in the description. Thank you so much for watching my reaction. Let me know, what are some products from America that you cannot live without? Like if you were forced tomorrow to go and live to the other side of the planet, or I don't know, maybe just Canada or Mexico, depending on where you live. Which are the products that you cannot live without? I want to know. Thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in my next one.